Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Here today we have Grixis Delver. Now, back in my day, we called this Canadian Threshold, and we played green instead of black. But we're not doing that shit anymore, okay? We got Netherglyph, who's in place of Delver. We've got Psychic Frog, who's in place of Tarmogoyf. We've got Murktide Regent, who's also in place of Tarmogoyf. This deck is lean, mean, aggressive. It's a furious deck, quite frankly. It's probably, in terms of synergy, one of the best decks in the format. Possibly the most synergistic deck in the format. Between Channeler, Netherglyph, Bauble, Murktide Regent, Psychic Frog, all this nonsense. It's all so good. We're in a two-man. Let's get them. No idea what they're playing. I tried to scout them. They had nothing. And I'm going to keep this hand. The idea being here, turn 1 Netherglyph into turn 2 Psychic Frog with the old Dazed backup. Swamp. What you gonna do with that swamp? Unmask, huh? Okay. Took my days. Not in love with that. They thought about it for a while, though, so maybe I'm not just frankly dead here. What's this? Entomb, perhaps? Cabal Therapy. Okay. Naming Frog, I imagine. Oh, on himself. Okay. Naming Atraxa. So he's going for Reanimate next turn. Here's his hand. So let's rip and just boom this guy. Ponder. Ponder, ponder, ponder. Well, Ponder is pretty good for the purposes of finding interruption here. Force. I guess, technically speaking, he can still... This guy, wow. Turn 2, double Thoughtseize, Reanimate Atraxa. Do we have to ban Reanimate? Is that a thing? Can we ban Reanimate? Dear Lord. Well, I mean, he even has the land. This guy's a jerk-off. I'm going to keep Force. I'm going to whack him for 3. Netherglyph here, already better, or already as good as Delver of Secrets. Just getting him. I mean, this guy really had, like, triple duress into turn 2 Reanimate. That's insane. That's completely insane. Yep. I know people are saying ban Grief, but maybe just fucking ban Reanimate. This card's so stupid. Yep. Oh great, more Griefs and Unmasks. Such fun and interactive magic. Here's what happened. I chose not to mulligan my hand, and then I lost. Like, that's what happened. Thanks, Wizards of the Coast. Okay, so he chose Dark Ritual, Unmask, Bayou, Grief. So everything else... And then he... Exiled Thoughtseize. Oh, he must have drawn it. He must have drawn Thoughtseize this turn. Okay. So we do have an out. That out is Molten Collapse. Flooded Strand is not that out. That being said, this isn't terrible because we can play Frog here. He can hard cast Grief, but we can respond by fetching and fatal pushing it, and then give ourselves one more shot. I guess technically 2 more shots, really, to draw Molten Collapse. And we do also have, 4 Brainstorms, 4 Ponders. I guess 3 Ponders left, but, we have a lot of cantrips. Ways to see extra cards to try and find one of those 2 Molten Collapses in the deck. Most people, I think, play Unholy Heat over Fatal Push. In this game, it would not have made a difference because even a Delirious Unholy Heat wouldn't get this Atraxa. That's cool art. So I don't think it really matters. Do I want to fetch here? No, I don't think I do. That's also not Molten Collapse. So I can't threaten with Frog. Or if I attack, I just get eaten by Atraxa. So I have to pass again. I have 1 more shot here to try and hit Molten Collapse. I'm not playing this Volcanic Island because maybe I'll get him to waste his turn tapping out for Grief. Even better would be Ritualing in Grief. That'd be cool. Yeah. Take my medicine. Okay. So I think now I do want to fetch for the purpose of thinning my library. Come on, Molten Collapse. Yeah. Land. Okay. So I can jump the Frog to block. Not ideal. And I don't think, if I have to chump with the Frog, which is what's happening, my chances of winning went from very low to extremely low. But, I'll give it a shot. Land, instant. I guess 2 instants is more likely. Actually, I should have exiled Murktide because I'm clearly going to have a creature right back there. But okay. Whatever. I don't think any of this really matters. Dark Ritual, yep. El Grieferino, yep. So we're going to fetch. Yeah, and this is the part where the Delver deck, you're just too aggressive to play the Surveil lands. So often, I don't know if clicking here makes a difference. So often, 1 lane cantrip is a snap keep. And if that land is a Surveil land, you just can't keep it. It really makes you mulligan a lot more just having the 1 Surveil land in the deck. Molten Collapse. Murktide Regent. Murktide, I guess. He already knows my hand. Might as well just play this all out. I guess this represents 1 more turn to find Molten Collapse. So get rid of land and get rid of creature. Ay. Nope. And I could not have made this big enough to rumble with the Atraxa. Not only have we not drawn Molten Collapse, we haven't drawn anything. It's been really bad off the top of the old Decaruni. Yep. Grizzlebark right on top. Awesome. I'm glad one of us can top deck. Jeez. Alright, we're super dead now. Well. Alright. So, in. Don't want the red blast or these blasts. I will take Force of Negation. Narset's a maybe. What's bad? Lightning Bolt is bad. Fatal Push is bad. Stifle. Stifle, I guess, can get fetch lands, and it can get the trigger of Animate Dead. That seems a little too specific for what I'm trying to do. So if we cut these, our deck looks like this. We have threats and deck manipulation. We have interaction, more threats, interaction. Yeah, I think Narset kind of just blows up Grizzlebrand. But even then, like a 7/7 lifelink flying is probably just going to kill me. So I'm not like super into bringing in Narset. So let's do this. Bring in all our counters. Bring in all our graveyard hate. And now that we know what we're up against, we can mulligan a bit more aggressively. Choose to play. Yeah, this hand is like the quintessential decision with this deck. Like, are you the beatdown or are you the control? And in this matchup, I think they're the beatdown. So I think I'm pretty happy keeping a hand with, 3 counter spells. That being said, I need to draw some type of pressure, because if I sit here all day, eventually they will just duress me a billion times and then resolve some type of reanimation threat. He's griefing me. And I think I just let this resolve. I'm going to assume he has reanimate in his hand. If he takes daze, I can force of negation, then reanimate. If he takes force of will, I can daze the reanimate. The hand is actually pretty grief proof, so I'm just going to let this happen. I even have 2 brainstorms, so if he wants to take the route of, like, just leave me with a kind of a crummy, non-interactive, like a crummy but interactive but non-pressuring hand, he can't even really do that. So this is actually a pretty fortunate spot for him to be pitching a grief here. But this does also make it pretty clear to me, I think, that he does have a reanimate in his hand. So we'll have to play according to that. Takes the force of will. Okay. And then does nothing. So I can brainstorm now and give myself the ability to play Frog on my turn, or I can brainstorm on my turn, see 1 extra card, and still be able to resolve a 1-drop threat. I think my hand's pretty good right now. So let's just I don't have a huge need, or a huge desire, I should say, to put cards back. Well, Wasteland's pretty awful. So we'll shuffle back Wasteland. That was a pretty weak brainstorm, honestly. Oh, I stacked it in the wrong order. Fuck me. Okay, we're going to brainstorm again. Okay. Put Wasteland back. Honestly, put Polluted Delta back. We're going to bobble him on his upkeep, so we can't get that card duressed. And we'll just pass. Can't believe I stacked those incorrectly. This is part of, like, playing Magic online. Yeah, you can drop Thoughtseize. It's whatever. It's a part of, like, playing Magic online where in real life, like, clearly I'll know which cards are which. Magic online, you're just kind of, like, clicking arbitrary things. It's hard sometimes to have the exact notion of where things are. Yeah, you can see my hand. Could make a case to fetch and brainstorm and hide the force of negation, but I think Double Daze is doing enough that I don't really need to do that. And I think I'll brainstorm on my main phase now. Oh, it's tough. Maybe I do it on his end of turn. Volcanic Island. I'll brainstorm on my main phase. I want to get a few cards deeper here. That's not very good. That is good, though. I think I do want to cast Brainstorm here. I'm going to leave up a black because holding up red really only lets me cast Dragon's Rage Channeler. Holding up Volcanic Island allows me to cast Netherglyph, or if I draw land and Murktide Frog, I can do that as well. Just gives me more outs. Okay, cool. So I don't need Molten Collapse, and I don't need... I'll put Frog on top. I'm going to cast this Netherglyph, and then I'm going to bobble now because I want to draw this Frog to have an extra blue card in my hand, so I can theoretically... Chains of Mistopheles? What is this? Chain of Smog. Discards 2 cards. Oh, this is the combo with that weird card from Witherbloom. Okay. I'm doing this now so I can draw the Frog, so I can have Force and Double Daze up. And we don't know what card he got, that's fine. He didn't draw Chain of Smog, and he already got rid of Duress. And this is what I was talking about before. If you're too interactive, you know, they can kind of just wait you out. I mean, it kind of feels like that's what's going on here. And like I said, we're pretty sure he has Reanimate in his hand. There's the Reanimate on Grief. I'm comfortable forcing this. And I'll pitch a day. This is tough. I'll pitch a Daze. I feel like the only way I can really pull ahead here is if I can't resolve the Psychic Frog. And even though it feels unlikely, if I pitch it, I definitely can't resolve it. Okay. Let's hit him. Now I'm going to tap out for this Frog, and this feels like the turn that I lose. Where it's kind of late in the game. We've interacted a little bit. I don't really have much in terms of disruption. I haven't really interrupted his game plan in terms of, like, if interacted with his graveyard at all, really. Like, I don't have any of the Surgicals or the Grafdigger's Cage or the Tormod's Crypt. I haven't found any of those. I just have this Daze that really isn't, realistically, is a blank at this point. So I'm not loving where I'm at by any means. Wow, really? Okay, he must be not be feeling great either. Okay. So the question now is, do I want to discard any of these to Psychic Frog? Channeler is a threat. Molten Collapse can maybe pull us back out of a game, and Daze, although I don't think Daze will be interactive at all, it is a blue card to pitch to Force of Will, so I'm not really in love with discarding any of these. I think I'm more interested in just hitting for 4 here and drawing an extra card. Ponder, that had to have been good. So let's play Dragon's Rage Channeler. Let's cast Ponder, we'll get our Surveil, and the Tormod's Crypt here I think would just win us the game. A second Daze. I don't think that does anything for us. He already has 4 lands in play. DRC Murktide Netherglyph. Yikes, where were you guys turns ago? I can't keep this. This doesn't do anything for me. I need to shuffle here and hope to hit like Tormod's Crypt or Surgical or some type of Force. Grafdigger's Cage. Ugh. You know, that could be a reason to just be playing more Tormod's Crypts and Surgicals. Because realistically, what is in this metagame, what does Cage stop that Tormod's Crypt doesn't? Not really anything, to be perfectly honest. Like, not a lot of people are you know, show and telling or casting Chord of Calling or Green Sun Xenon. There's a little bit of that, but I mean, the boogeyman of the format are these Reanimate decks. This is just a Grief. Yeah, and it's about to get dazed. Pretty shockingly. I really can't believe I'm winning this game. I felt so far behind. Wasteland. I'm not in a Wasteland. I really can't believe we're getting away with this right now. Feels like I shouldn't be. We didn't really interact with the graveyard early. We didn't put enough pressure on, but I guess sometimes they don't just automatically kill you. So 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Discard 1 card and we win. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll attack and I'll just discard Frog to Frog. Right, that's 5. Yeah, it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bam. Don't even show him the cage. I don't need no Graph Digger's Cage to beat you. Okay. So I don't think I want to change anything post-board. What I want to change is my deck building and have another Tormod script instead of this Graph Digger's Cage. That's what I want to change. I still like the counterbalance. I still like the Force of Negation. I still don't really care for this Stifle. Price of Progress doesn't do anything. These Meltdowns don't do anything. These red and blue blasts don't do anything. Fatal Push doesn't do anything. Yeah, this has to be the configuration we run, so let's do that again. On the draw this time, so I kind of... Ugh. 2 Wastelands is tough. It's very tough. No blue cards. I think I have to mulligan this. Like, it is turn 1 Dragon's Rage Channeler, turn 2 Force of Negation, but I don't have a blue card. These Wastelands are totally dead. This is basically a mold of 5, really, because these Wastelands really don't do anything. And, like, sure, they play some green-black lands, but they have Troll of Khazad-dûm. Like, they're never going to be hurting for lands. I don't think, anyway. I'm going to mulligan this. This is much better. I'll put back a Murktide Regent. And yeah, you know, if he's going to just turn 1 scam me, then he turn 1 scammed me and he got me. But there's no use in, like, mega playing around that. Don't do it. Don't mull the 6 and do it. Lotus Petal. That's a little scary. Is he gonna do it? Come on, man. I thought you were cool. Actually, I didn't think you were cool. You're playing this fucking deck. You're not cool at all. Yep. Are you gonna Grief and Tomb Reanimate me on your mold of 5 on turn 1? That's insane. You can't just do that. Seriously? I mean, okay, sure. So, if you're gonna mulligan and then turn 1 Grief and Tomb Reanimate, then yeah, I'm gonna lose. That's what happens. So, yeah, so Wizard of the Coast, get your shit together and, like, ban Grief or ban Reanimate. This is fucking ridiculous. I kept a 6-card hand with 2 pieces of 0 mana interaction and still got turn 1 killed. So let's fucking figure it out, guys, huh? All right. We did.